This is Mirabella's Kitchen, and today I'm making warped forest flatbread pizza from the Minecraft cookbook. If you'd like to cook with me, please check the description below for a list of the ingredients and a shout out to my patrons, Dennis, Andrea, Daryl, and Melissa. Thanks, guys. I'm joined by my producers today in the studio. I'm going to give the ingredients for one pizza, but I'm making two in the video. So I have 28 ounces of San Marzano tomatoes I add to a bowl and break up. I then add 1/4 cup of olive oil, a half a teaspoon coarse kosher salt, a pinch of crushed red pepper, and then I start to whisk it to emulsify it. I decided to switch to using my immersion blender to speed up the process for about 30 to 60 seconds on low speed. I place it back in the bowl and put it in my fridge. I'm using 6 ounces of mozzarella cheese that I'm cutting into 1/2 inch cubes. I'm taking 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour and adding it to a mixing bowl for the dough. Adding a half a teaspoon coarse kosher salt, a half a teaspoon dried rosemary, though honestly I could have done without this. And I whisk it together. I add my wet ingredients, so 1.5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, a half a cup of warm water, warm meaning 100 to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. And then I start to form the dough into a cohesive ball. Once I have somewhat of a ball shape, I flour my work surface and start to knead the dough for about 1 to 2 minutes until it's no longer sticky. You can add a little more flour if you find it still sticky. So once I have a ball, I flour my work surface again and grab my rolling pin and start to roll it out. You should roll it out to about the size of the baking sheet you're going to be using. I rolled this one out way too long. This is probably like 4 inches overlay. So I recommend kind of sizing your baking sheet tray. I have my oven preheated to 500 degrees Fahrenheit, and I had my baking sheets preheating in there so it's nice and hot. I sprinkle some cornmeal and add on the flatbread pizza dough. And you could see there's a significant overlay on one and the other one was perfectly sized. So I just rolled with it and I put them in the oven for 5 to 7 minutes until the dough puffs. I'm gonna top with some cremini mushrooms. So I slice those in the meantime. I then add 3/4 cup of tomato sauce to the flatbread once it comes out of the oven, leaving about 1/2 inch on the sides. I then top with the sliced mushrooms, about 2 tablespoons worth of sun-dried tomatoes, and the mozzarella cheese. And I brush the edges of the crust with some olive oil so they get a nice color to them. I put the pizza back into the oven for another 6 minutes until the cheese melts. I grate a little Parmesan cheese on top, a dusting of dried oregano, another pinch of crushed red pepper, and I'm then adding about 1/4 cup of baby arugula. And I slice the flatbread pizza into about 10 pieces. You can cut them to whatever size you prefer. Got a nice cheese pull while plating. And that's warped forest flatbread pizza. Thanks for joining me today. I make new videos on cooking every Thursday. Please support me on Patreon and on Facebook at Mirabella's Kitchen.